Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. I was gonna change my shirt. That's right. This is not all on the same day. I just I just changed my shirt. I just haven't changed my shirt. I promise you, in the next video, these one, I'll be wearing a different shirt. So, welcome back to Dis-Cember 2022. I'm talking slowly because I'm also writing out something. I don't want to write down what I'm saying. So, we are talking about the first remake. Well, no, the only real remake. Because this one is like a reimagining. It could be set in the same universe, I guess. But with the remake, 1995 version of Escape to Witch Mountain, which stars Eric Von Detten, Elizabeth Moss, Robert Vaughn, Perry Reeves, Brad freaking Dourif, and Kevin Teague Snyder, Warden Snyder from Newsies. Going into this, okay, I knew about Robert Vaughn, I knew about Elizabeth Moss, and Eric Von Detten. But the other stars in this, I did not. In fact, I didn't even realize it was Brad Dourif until he started talking. I'm like, Brad Dourif? There are times in this, though, if you are looking away from the TV screen and he is talking, like there was one part where he goes, "I'm a nice guy." And I'm just like, why does it sound weird to hear the voice of Chucky saying, "I'm a nice guy"? Especially when Chucky series is ongoing. I should have put Chucky over there. Nah. It's still ongoing right now. But, yeah. So, the story is a bit different. It follows most of the same beats as the original, with some differences, like I said. In this version, they're not just found together like in the original. They are separated by this hermit who... So, we get an explanation later on in the film by Vincent Schiavelli. Vincent Schiavelli! I didn't know he was in this either. I was just like, I remember him. I remember him now. Once I saw him, like, yeah, that's right, he's in this. Vincent Schiavelli. This is a star-studded cast, but we start in the past. This movie is narrated by Perry Reeves as the character Zoe. Now, here's the thing. They don't do anything to make any other character look younger, except for having two babies. But for Perry Reeves, they put her in pigtails to signify, look, she's younger here than she is in the rest of the film. She's got pigtails. The Kevin Ty, the Hermit, nope, they still look the same. In modern 1995 times, this was 9 years earlier. So, yeah. So, this hermit finds the two kids. He puts the girl on some delivery truck, also driven by Brad Dourif. Brad Dourif, who ends up being the chauffeur for Mr. Bolt. In this film is the only main antagonist. There's no Duranian. It's just Bolt. Much like in the book. And I think it works better if there's just one bad guy. Right? Because, you know, having not only Duranian, but there's like a whole circle of bad guys just waiting for these kids. Here, the way they do this, I think, works much better. It's not some kind of cult waiting for these kids to show up. It's this guy sees these kids have special powers, adopts them, and has his own little scheme, you know, mining minerals from Witch Mountain. On what, silver or crystal or something that he's going to mine. He's going to use their powers to do it. That's his whole spiel. But here, they get separated, and then we cut to 9 years later, and Danny is running away. He gets sent to child services, who put him in a orphanage where he meets Anna, but also our bully type character, who's not named Truck. I still don't know why he was named Truck in the first one. But Xander, who is a better written character than Truck, who's just a one-note bully. They actually give this bully character development, as he seems to have some kind of, attraction to Anna. Yes, the characters are Danny and Anna this time instead of Tony and Tia. I don't think the name scheme works as well as Tony and Tia with the 2 T's, but it's fine. You gotta change some things, right? I mean, they're also, I think they're older in this one, plus their names are different too. So, does it say? No. So, yeah, immediately, as soon as they meet, Danny and Anna have some kind of connection, which of course makes Xander jealous because he also has a thing for Anna. But it turns out they're brother and sister, and upon finding that out, they tell the lady in charge of the orphanage, and she just believes it. No, I can't believe this. Yes, you were. And I'm just like, wait, what? Like, that feels like a point where, we have to just have her accept this so the movie can move on. So, yeah. Because if she accepts it, then they both have to be adopted at the same time, which, even if you and your sibling are at an orphanage, there's no guarantee you're going to get adopted at the same time. One of you might be adopted over the other. That's how it works. And I've never adopted, but you know what I mean. But, yeah. So, in this version, they're not just going out on a little field trip. Actually, Mr. Bolt shows up to make a donation because they're running light on money and funds. So he shows up, he makes a donation. Of course, for publicity, he's got the camera crew there. And how lucky the camera crew doesn't have the camera on when this happens, but he goes to leave, much like the original. Anna has a bad feeling, and this truck comes in, loses control, smashes the door where Mr. Bolt was going to be. He sees this and immediately wants to adopt these children. He knows there's some kind of a connection. We also have a story with Zoe. She's sort of sidelined. She's telling this story, but she's sidelined for most of the film. And I think the biggest issue for me with this character is she is telling this story. She's sidelined for most of the film. She's not around any of this. She doesn't actually meet up with these kids until towards the end of the film. How does she know about any of this at all? How? I don't know. I just thought of that right now doing this review. I'm like, wait a minute, it doesn't make any sense to me. How she can tell this entire story, word for word, like she knows everything that happened, sequence per sequence, but yet, did she talk to Xander afterwards? to be filled in on some of the stuff she missed, or what? I don't know. Anyway, also throughout the film, we see Vincent Schiavelli's character, this guy who wears purple. We see him putting up lights, purple lights, of course, when the twins discover their powers, and so he, comes to realize what's going on. He does this evil type laugh, and I was like, is this supposed to try to deter us, right? From make us think he's the villain. But if we've seen the original movie, we know that Mr. Bolt is the villain. Now, wouldn't it be something if they did a swap, if they did some kind of swap thing, and the alien guy who's supposed to guide them is the villain? Like the Uncle Benet, character is the villain, and this big, rich, wealthy guy is the hero. Now, there is no real Jason O'Day type character here. They certainly have allies, but there's no Jason O'Day character. The guy that drives him up to Witch Mountain is the Hermit. And you can say Perry Reeves might be the Jason O'Day character, Maybe even Vincent Schiavelli's character is the Jason O'Day, but they're all very different. Like I said, I equate Vincent Schiavelli to Uncle Benet, because he's the one who's trying to help them get back, right? But there's no real Jason O'Day. In fact, this is less of a fugitive type movie than the first one. Once they get adopted, we kind of stay at Bolt's house for a chunk of the film. And the thing is, he kind of puts this sort of, not a spell, but like, he has this hold over Danny, because Danny's just tried to find a family his entire life. He's got a sister, and he thinks this place could be his home, right? So he sort of brings Danny in, that sort of thing, but then it all falls apart when they both realize that something's going on. They get, she's like, hey, they didn't want us into town, and they go into town, and they talk to Vincent Schiavelli, who's like, hey, you are the twins, and you need to show up, you need to go, you gotta be back here by sundown. And then, the chauffeur takes them away, right? Because the chauffeur is still working for him, even though, as Anna says later, he's not a bad person, but he's just doing his job, right? They also have the horse, Thunderbolt, in this one. The horse is there again, much like with the original. That's still there. And they do get away on the horse. Of course. Wilbur. That'd be cool if it was Mr. Ed. I'll get you out of here. Come on, children. It'd be something. I'm just saying. Excuse that. I need a drink. Throat's a little dry. Very good. Because it's very, very punch flavored. Skittles juice packets. Very good. Say it again. So, the kids come to realize that Mr. Bolt's not all he's cracked up to be. So they are locked up separately because the chauffeur has told them that they need to be close together for the powers to work. And even he doesn't know why he knows that. And that's where he first said that, okay, he's probably connected to this in more ways than one. In some way, shape, or form. So, you're locked apart. But we get Field Trip Ex Machina. Because, Xander Ex Machina, I should say. Because Xander earlier kind of talked Bolt into letting him come over for a picnic. And he's like, the picnic. Keep them separated and I'll deal with them. And so, or you want to go in the pool? And he's like, Xander's like, well, where are Danny and Anna? Oh, they're sick. They got chicken pox. And he realizes that he's full of shit. So he gave Anna this duck collar. So he starts doing it. She realizes that he's there and she finds it. So he rescues them. I gotta do this. It's time for Plan Xander. Power Rangers, Mystic Force. Plan Xander. He picks the handcuff lock and then gets her out of there. Is that what? Time for a hug? Later. But then they go save Danny in the stables. They hop on the horse. They get away. Xander helps them out. Here's the thing. They get on the horse. They go into town. They go to Vincent Schiavelli's place, right? Then these cops show up. Now, the cops are sort of in Bolt's pocket. But unlike in the original, Bolt doesn't actually have a group of people working for him. So they're not actually working for him, even though they seem to be crooked. They're not really. But they're trying to recover these kids, right? And I'm sorry. Minder's taking a toll on my nose. I'm dry. I've had bloody noses here and there. Happens. It's kind of bad this year. Winter's barely started. Anyway. So they get up there on the horse, right? And they try to run away, but try to get away from their arranged married. No, they try to get away, and the cops grab them. But then Xander is there destroying the underneath the hood, taking apart the central parts of the car. I'm just like, how the hell did he get up there so fast? They had a horse. Did they? I don't know. I don't understand. But they get away again, and they hop in the back of a truck, which so happens to be the hermit's truck, and he takes them to a cave on Witch Mountain, where they sort of talk to him, right? And he agrees to help them. He doesn't talk, because you're not supposed to know it's Brad Dourif. So he doesn't talk till later, because there's supposed to be a twist with him. You're not supposed to know it's Brad Dourif. So, yeah. But I don't know, I could tell the way he was moving and stuff that it was him. Because I know Brad Dourif. Anyway, so they hop in the truck and try to get out there, and just so happen to run by Zoe, who is trying to catch up to them. And the four of them get in. Now, she is kind of forced, because they try to use their telepathy. I'm almost done with the movie and I haven't said it yet. Try to use their telepathy, or they call it the light here, but the telepathy, to hover the truck, you know, like the camper in the original, but they can't do it. So, on hands with the hermit and Zoe, and she's like, "This is why I was here. This is why I'm supposed to help you." I'm like, okay, that's a little bit forced, that this is what she's supposed to be there for. I don't know. But they do that. They turn around, they fly off the top of the mountain, and they get there. And then everyone sort of catches up with them. You got the orphanage lady and Xander show up to say goodbye. The hermit is there with them. He wants to go with them, but he needs a twin. This is where we get the explanation. No, that was earlier. We get the explanation earlier. I forgot to mention. When they get there. So, in this version, they're from a parallel dimension where everybody has a twin. And some way or another, they always get separated and come back together and have to go back up there to home. They come down here to see things. And apparently, like millions of years ago, they came to this planet. But the twins got separated and forgot. And so, like, everybody has the light in them. The telepathic powers, they have the light in them, but they don't know how to use it. In some way, shape, or form, that someone has a twin out there. I don't know how that works. If we all descended from these parallel dimension twins, wouldn't twins be in all of our DNAs? I don't know. I know there's that theory out there that everyone has a twin in this world. Maybe they took that to a new direction. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's kind of kooky the way they changed the lore here. Like, they're like, so we're aliens? He's like, aliens, Martians, things. It's all been said before. Basically, you know, the term alien has been made up to define these people who come from a parallel dimension. But they're not really technically aliens, but who knows. But the chauffeur and the hermit, both played by Brad Dourif, discover they're twins and they go up. And then Anna says goodbye to Xander. Danny doesn't though. I don't. Xander. And then just as they're watching this, the sheriff shows up. And now Zoe is vindicated because it's proven that she was right. And even she makes a comment earlier, because earlier when they were talking about it, don't you believe in other things? She goes, I only believe in hot fudge sundaes. So he sees this and she goes, isn't this better than a hot fudge sundae? And then he just kind of smiles. And then the movie ends with a little bit of a dialogue from her talking about, you know. And they do hint that it could have been a sequel because Vincent Schiavelli's like, I have to stay here just in case anyone else comes along. You know, that sort of thing. But, you know, it never happened. It was, this is actually pretty good. On par with the original, actually. I may actually like it more because it gets rid of some of my problems I had with the original, like the whole circle of evil and them knowing that there were going to be evil people. It's just a guy who wants to be richer, which kind of makes more sense. It's a coincidence. These kids fell into his lap, and that makes more sense than just, oh, it's an evil organization who are waiting for these kids to show up. Too blah, too wibbly wobbly kind of thing. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on the Escape to Witch Mountain remake? Make comments below, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.